With the controversial healthcare exchanges just about to kick in, the president admitting the law did kick up taxes.
It's paid for by a combination of things. We did raise taxes on some things.
Some things, well, some here say try a whole lot of things, and they're not things, they're people. And it's just the beginning. So are they right or wrong? Hi, everybody. I'm David Asman. Welcome to Forbes on Fox. Let's go in focus with Mr. Steve Forbes, John Tamny, Rick Unger, Rich Karlgaard, Sabrina Schaefer, and Bill Baldwin. Steve, some things?
David, you're going to get more taxes because the government's running it, which means you're going to get less supply, less innovation, and at the end of the day, we're going to have less longevity and more pain. In every other country where they tried this, it's either higher taxes or less supply of health care. They can't get around it.
Rick, we had a solemn promise by the president when he was selling this thing that taxes would not go up. Now he admits, first of all, he violated that promise, but some things, I mean, this is going to hit people and people's pockets.
Actually, we had a solemn promise from the president that he would not raise taxes on people earning less than $250,000. That's a fairly
He said taxes wouldn't go up.
That's
he said taxes wouldn't go up.
No, he never really did say that.
Yes, he did. He said it would pay for itself. Taxes wouldn't go up.
Well, I don't know how he said taxes wouldn't go up when he clearly from the outset imposed certain taxes as a result. I'll tell you where you're right, and this is deeply disturbing, and you know, this is why they didn't re-elect the president. Oh, wait, yes, they did. He did raise taxes on people going into tanning booths, and yes, there is no base. You can earn $10,000 a year, and you'll pay taxes if you go into an indoor tanning booth. He did also cut the deduction. You have to hit a threshold today of 10% of your adjusted gross income if you want to deduct your medical expenses over 7.5. Other than that, there is nothing that he did in the ACA that raises taxes on people below $250,000.
Okay,
it's
but
on corporations.
John, the fact is, you look at the list of taxes that are going up and the amount of money, whether it's hitting people over $250,000 or not, that's money coming out of the private sector to pay for the public sector, something that the president said would pay for itself.
Well, it's inevitable. The man who promised to lower sea levels and global temperatures just for existing is now discovering that basic market forces are far more powerful than as a community organizer. Obama promised the nation cheap health care, but what we're realizing is that to get cheap health care, it's very expensive, and it's going to be delivered in a very poor way.
And Bill, don't forget the thing that is going to hit people below $250,000, which is the individual mandate. If you don't pay, you got to pay a penalty.
I'm not too worried about more Obamacare taxes. No, I'm worried about all-purpose taxes. Brace yourself, Steve. I think we're going to see taxes on salaries in the form of a higher Social Security wage base. We're going to see taxes on millionaires, and we're going to see taxes on carbon. And I think that medicine cabinet tax that Steve doesn't like is the least of his worries.
Wait till Obama gets through with them. Tax, by the way. You can talk to the people in Australia, but I think that failed a little while back. But Sabrina, what about these Obamacare taxes? I mean, the president now saying, yes, taxes are going to go up, even though he promised they wouldn't.
Well, completely unsurprising when you have $1 trillion in new spending. Look, this is not complicated. The government is mandating that insurance companies provide something to Americans that they don't want nor necessarily need. So we have teetotalers getting, alcoholic rehab, and we have men buying prenatal care. This is ridiculous. Of course, there's going to be taxes. It's the only way to pay for this additional spending. We have excise taxes on medical devices. We have 40% taxes on Cadillac plans. So, of course, there's plenty of taxes that we could talk about.
And Rich, even as Rick said, that even if those taxes that only fall on the upper tier, if you're taxing medical devices, you know that those companies that make the medical devices are going to pass those taxes on to the consumers, right?
Or they're going to go offshore. I mean, and we're going to lose a major American industry. Look, taxes are going to go up because young, healthy people are not going to sign up for the exchanges. Therefore, there's going to be a huge shortfall in cash. Therefore, taxes are going to go up way more than anyone is thinking, certainly than Brother Rick is thinking here. This is an abomination. And missing in action here is the role of innovation. And here I hold Republicans equally accountable to Obama. I mean, they may protest Obamacare, and quite properly so. But let's bring innovation into this equation. Cell phones are a lot cheaper today, and we have nearly universal coverage because we have innovation and the free market at work. this could happen in health care.
And Steve, there is a spinning spiral effect to these taxes as well that happens. One of the tax, for example, if you're a wealthy person, if you make over $250,000, you sell your house, you got to pay this Obamacare tax on the sale of your house. Now, that could actually affect the housing market, could it not?
It's going to be a little weight on the housing market, but Rich hit something that's very important. With Obamacare, with government involvement, we're going to get less innovation. And innovation's the only way we can move ahead. We should be going in the opposite direction, having real free enterprise in health care, which we do not have today, and effective safety nets instead of the hodgepodge system we have now.
Rick?
All due respect, that completely shows a lack of understanding of what the ACA is. In point of fact, much of this law...
That's the health care law. That's Obamacare.
Yeah, I'm saying Obamacare.
Right.
Most of this law, in fact, does deal with innovating. I can't tell you that everything is going to work. We'll have to wait and see. But much of it is. One other thing to what Rich said. What people tend to forget, it is that very innovation and technology in medical, a lot of it driven by government dollars, by the way, which I don't think you like, that has in fact raised the price of medicine in this country. It's what we call a good problem. There's technology that keeps you and I around longer today and healthier, but it costs money.
John, so much of this, though, is based on promises. You know, promise me taxes won't go up. Promise me this will pay for itself. Promise me this, that, and now supposedly this is all the taxes, no more. Do you believe all these promises to the American people?
Well, I think it's also based more on cruelty. I mean, the cruelest thing a politician can ever do is say, I'm going to give you something cheaply, because by definition, it's going to be more expensive. Rich Karlgaard's absolutely right. The best way you get to low prices is through high prices. Once you see high prices and profit, that attracts the innovation and competition. People like Rick want to blunt out the high price, and as a result, you get no innovation and no competition.
And Bill, it's not like we don't have examples. We do have Medicare. We do have Medicaid. We've seen how those have turned out. They've cost a lot more than people expected them to.
Only about 100 times as much as predicted.
So,
well, okay, all right. The government costs money, but I think you might be losing sight of the bigger picture here. The Obamacare expenses are just a small part of it. The whole government's going bankrupt. That's why they're going to be taxing everybody to death.
So, Sabrina, no matter what happens, we just got to sit back and accept these higher taxes?
Well, we have an election coming up in a few years, and I think that's the final word. But look, this is a president that was grossly dishonest with the American people. He promised benefits, said we're going to have expanded coverage with no consideration for what this was going to cost the American taxpayer. And now I think the chickens are coming home to roost.
Rich, we do have an election coming up, and this is likely to affect that election one way or the other. Who do you think benefits from the rollout of Obamacare, the Republicans or Democrats?
The Republicans should benefit, but they're blowing it because they're in their hostility toward Obamacare. They're making the wrong argument. They're making an argument out of anger. Now, I understand why people are angry, but they should make the positive argument of what health care could look like in the future if we had free market innovation that we see in technology and so many other parts of our still dynamic economy.
I think actually Rick might agree with you on part of that.
Yeah, but actually, I hope you'll ask that same question in about 3 years, because what you're going to find, and all of you Republicans won't admit it, but you know it, people are going to like much, if not all, of this law. Wait and see who this inures to.
I gotta agree with Rick as far as one thing goes. We will wait and see, and we will all find out the answer to that question.